Hello fellow leggers, you are joining us up in the Midlands at the Grand Theatre Wolverhampton for a very exciting piece.
It is indeed. It's probably the musical with the biggest cult following of all time. Ever. What's your guess? Well, it's the Rocky Horror Show, of course, so stick around to find out all of our thoughts.
Find out how many stars.
And whether it's break a leg
or leg it. We've got a very excitable audience. I've already seen many people dressing up. I feel underdressed.
I was just about to say, I'm
sorry, leggers. We know you're disappointed.
We feel your disappointment for the fact that neither of us are in fishnets, right? But
we should have made a better effort.
I know. I'm really sorry to let you down. Even with loads of notice, we've still failed to deliver and come straight from work, basically.
No
because,
excuses.
YouTube ain't paying no bills, fellow leggers. It ain't. Right, Rocky Horror Show.
What do
you
we
need to know
about this?
Music's, lyrics, and book by Richard O'Brien.
Yeah.
Crystal May's host, first time round. Do you know what? There'll be some people that weren't watching this that weren't born when the Crystal Maze was originally on Channel 4.
What?
That's crazy, isn't it?
Crazy.
Anyway, it's a humorous tribute to the science fiction and horror B-movies of the 1930s to the 1960s and tells the story of Frankenfurter, a mad transvestite scientist who is unveiling his new creation, a perfect man. Now, he's invited a party full of enthusiastic fans, but unfortunately, two hapless, innocent teenagers have just happened to break down outside the house.
As you do.
As you do. Now, the musical premiered upstairs at the Royal Court Theatre in London in 1973, later transferring into town and playing almost 3,000 performances and winning the Evening Standard Theatre Award for Best Musical.
So it did pretty well.
But upon its transfer to Broadway in 1975, the show was a total flop and closed after just 45 performances.
Ouch.
Now, despite the setback, the musical was adapted into a movie, which I'm sure most people have come to know Rocky Horror, usually through the movie. I know I did, also in 1975, and it garnered a cult following of fans, totally inspired by its message of don't dream it, be it.
What a message.
Such is the passion of these followers, who have all dressed up here tonight, that the movie is still in theatrical release 44 years after its original premiere.
Is that the record?
It's the longest running release of a movie of all time.
Ever. There we go.
Now, audiences began participating in the film by talking back to the screen and even having shadow casts where people would dress up and act out certain bits of it, which still happens to this very day in New York every single week.
Wow.
And then that ethos of talking back has entered into the stage production now, so be prepared for a lot of shouting out. It's a very cheeky show, this one. Now, it's been on many tours, but this production at this venue stars Stephen Webb from Here to Eternity and Legally Blonde in the West End as Frankenfurter, and Joanne Clifton, sister of Kevin Clifton, who's an ex-Strictly professional dancer.
Okay.
Now, the musical is also, it has a bigger part in LGBT sort of history than that, and in a sexual liberation front, because it's widely said to have had an influence on the sexual liberation movement and being one of the first musicals to depict gender fluidity at a time of division between generations and a general lack of sexual acceptance. It's really driven that message.
A pioneering piece in many ways.
Not only is it a comedy horror, but it's an important piece of our pop culture.
I've never seen a live production of this.
Yeah,
so this is my first time seeing it on stage ever.
And you'll be looking
stick
forward
around
to
hear all
sharing
of my thoughts and find out how many stars. Fellow leggers, we've come to the interval, which means it's time for the breaker leggers.
30-second interval breakdown. Go! What do you think so far?
I'm enjoying it a lot. It's good fun. It's sippy, boys, over quick, but there's always something happening. There's stuff happening that I don't quite understand, and I'm just being dragged along with the audience, but I'm enjoying it. It's bright and brash and loud.
I think that's it. It's zany. The plot is weird, but it's wonderful. It's weird and wonderful. The audience are lapping it up, and the enthusiasm and the energy is contagious. The songs are amazing. I love the music. I've always loved the music, and it sounds great in this production. Can't wait to see what happens next. But we weren't just dreaming it tonight, fellow leggers, we were being it. And we were being it right here at the Wolverhampton Grand. I suppose as someone that's a virgin, they call it, if you've never seen it live, you are known as a virgin.
I am
You
a
are the
virgin.
Janet Weiss of this review.
Slut.
Slut.
I'm learning.
So, so what did you think of it? What was your live experience like?
Do you know what it's like? It's like, you know when you try and explain pantomime to people who have never experienced
From a
pantomime.
different country.
From a different country, and it's
Yeah.
like it's like, what is this? What is going on? I felt like that coming into this, because I was like, what is this? What is going on? People are saying stuff. People are knowing what's happening.
People have
People are
props.
getting lights out.
Their
People are
own
getting
props.
newspapers.
Yeah.
And I think what I enjoyed as well. I'm gonna have to pull out the narrator already.
Okay.
I know we're not quite
Philip
on to cast.
Franks.
Philip Franks was fantastic, and I think the cleverness is obviously now the cast know what responses they're going to get from the audience. It seems that's pretty well established, but it's when the
When they act
cleverness
like they're not expecting
is when
it,
it's
right?
not expected, and then they come up with their own witty comebacks, which I imagine I've done 1,000 times. But then that is the magic of the piece.
But you say that now.
So it's the ad lib of the ad lib of the ad lib.
Now, traditionally in past productions, and in some venues on this tour, I think, the narrator is played by a local celebrity or somebody that's from the area, but he's a name, basically.
Yes, I
But
recognised him.
I think, and I think he is known, but he's not like an A-list, he's not a TV celebrity, is he? He's not
No.
on a soap. say.
No,
And
it's
that's
not
what's
so
happened
bad.
in the past. What the joy of having someone that is done this night in, night out for months is their ability to be quick-witted, and also he must have thought, or someone has thought of topical on the day quips to come back with.
Yes, because we had the Queen's speech today,
Yeah.
and he had a Queen's speech.
Quip.
It
Comeback.
was brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made it for me. Who was it who played
Philip
it?
Franks.
Philip Franks, Break a Leg a nomination.
Yeah.
I
Best
absolutely,
supporting actor in a musical.
I absolutely enjoyed it. He made it for me.
Great.
It was absolutely fantastic. The dryness.
Yeah.
It is the role you
Early
want.
on that nomination, not even talking about casting, it's
Um,
boom,
oh
it's
yeah,
right
so,
there.
so yeah, we went even on that. So
Yeah.
pantomime, that's what it like for me. I enjoyed it. It's fun. Everyone is having fun, and you cannot help but get swept up in the fun that is being had. The
Yeah.
score drives and moves through in its early stages. The lighting is immense here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
So much dry ice. I felt sorry for the stalls at one point, but I thought it was just really good, enjoyable fun. A bit crazy.
Yeah,
a
it
bit
is.
Like I'm
And
not
don't,
quite sure what
Don't look
happened.
for sense in
It's
the
a bit
plot.
like Cats.
It's not there. Well, talking about Cats, there's another cast member I'll talk about. We'll come back to Cats later. But I would say for me, it's just this, it's giving yourself over to absolute pleasure. It's sitting back and just enjoying an experience. And you don't
Yeah,
always
okay.
have to go for highbrow. You don't always have to know exactly what's going on.
Don't need a
But what
Hamlet.
you do need to be doing in a show like this is having a great time. And I was, you were, and everyone else around was having a great time.
It was infectious.
Absolutely infectious. And all the songs sound so good, fellow leggers. Like,
Yes.
they've stood the test of time so well because they are homages to that early rock and roll. You've got some late 50s vibes, a bit of sort of Perry Como in there, right through to sort of Buddy Holly and almost Elvis sort of moments that are just reflected in the score. The birth of rock and roll is what has driven Richard O'Brien to write these songs, and they are so well orchestrated and so well performed.
So well executed.
Yeah.
I thought the band was fantastic.
There's only 5 or
The
6 of them up there.
5 of them. I think that whoever was on the saxophone was some rocking notes in
Yeah.
there. The same solo guitar. You said about I thought the vocals from the whole cast were fantastic, solo and together.
Yeah.
Just the blend of everyone. Really well. Really good stuff.
Yeah, I would say shout out to creative team, the director Christopher Luscombe, and also obviously the writer Richard O'Brien. But
Yeah.
for me, the plotting of the lights, man.
Yeah, the light does make it. 'cause
Lighting
it's-
design by Nick Richings.
Because the thing is, it's kind of a bit of a cheap set. They don't try and make it look amazing. I imagine it's that kind of B-movie.
But it's meant to be B-movie camp.
Yeah, and so what they do rely on, what does make it, is the lighting.
Yeah.
The lighting is so specific. The way it darts here and there, just it comes into the audience, is a fantastic lighting
And
design.
because our awards are about theatre we've seen this year, Break a Leg a nomination for best lighting for me for Nick Richings. I think you've just done
From
a
you?
great,
From us.
From us.
From us. Absolutely.
You've done a great job with sort of bringing the story to life. And what I found the lighting did was push the focus into the audience and made you part of it.
Absolutely.
You're in the spotlight, guys, because this is your show as well, and I loved that.
Yes,
let's move on to some performances,
Okay.
I think. I really wanted to pull out, and I gave you a Cats sort of teaser. If he has not already done it, then I think, where is he? Callum Evans needs to do Cats.
Which one was
The
Callum
guy-
Evans?
Rocky, who played Rocky.
Oh, now which one was he? I can't
Oh,
quite
can you
remember.
not? If I describe him as the one with an amazingly fit body,
There's someone with an
and
amazing
the
fit body.
leopard print shorts,
He only had
the gold stong.
How could he have passed me by? Oh my goodness, he's kind of like the focus of your attention.
I mean, if you're a hot-blooded man or woman, he is the focus of your attention.
Anyone, I think he'll turn anybody.
Yeah.
Why'd you say Cats?
Because that sort of acrobatic, I could imagine him doing Mr. Mistopheles. Do you know,
Okay.
sort of bouncing around the stage and being all bells and whistles? Like, he should be in Cats.
I'm not sure if he's a dancer. He's very
He's an
acrobatic.
accomplished acrobatic gymnast and won the Welsh Championship.
And I think there's
came
more to
second
Mr.
in the-
Mistopheles than
Well, he could
acrobatics,
sing as
but
well.
He's got a great voice as well, because I think stereotypically I'd imagine that part just to look good.
Yeah.
But he was a great performer and a great vocalist
Yeah,
as well. He held
absolutely.
his own. He was great.
Yeah, he's got loads of credits and has played Sporticus in Lazytown Live.
Brilliant.
That's a
There you
gymnastic
go.
role, isn't it?
He would see that well.
Also, I'd like to call out Laura Harrison as the usherette and Magenta.
Yes.
I found the
I was
way.
trying to work out who the doubling up of that was.
I
there.
found the way
Okay.
that she sang Usherette was completely different to Magenta. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like those distinctive. She gave those characters such individuality.
And a great voice.
She has a beautiful,
Talking about great
a
voices.
beautiful voice. Absolutely
Yeah.
loved
Also
her.
liked the who's the Richard
Raff?
O'Brien? Yes, you remember mine.
Christian Lavacombe as Riff
Oh
Raff.
my goodness, such lovely, rich top tenor notes
Yep.
and tone.
I think I saw him last time I saw the show because he has done 1,400 performances of Rocky Horror Show now.
I was going to say, it'd
He
be
is Riff
really
Raff.
hard to cast this and find the right person. As soon as I heard him, I was like, wow, they've really struck gold finding him.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they are sticking with him
Yeah.
because he is absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely. Loved all the ensemble as well, really featured dancers. And I suppose we need to talk about, let's not bury the leads here,
Yeah.
James Darch as Brad,
I thought it was great, a lovely voice.
sexy as
Very
well.
cute as well.
And also Joanne Clifton as
I
Janet.
thought she was really good.
who has gone to show
Oh my
that,
goodness.
that she's a triple threat.
Yes.
She's an absolute triple threat, guys.
I loved her.
She's not only a great dancer, but her acting was on point.
Yep.
The believability and her emotions. She really got the tone of the piece because it's meant to be campy and cheap and sort of a little bit sort of like stiff.
Yes.
And when she was stiff, she was stiff. And when she was horny, she was horny.
And when she
really
sang,
was.
she sang.
She sang
She had
it
such a
so
perfect tone to suit that
well.
character.
I'm glad that we have now brought her into mainstream theatre and we get her on our stages to watch. She was great.
Great.
And let's, last but not least, talk about Stephen Webb in the role of Frankenfurter at this venue. At other venues, there's other performers, namely
Oh, really?
Duncan James from Blue has
Ooh.
hit some of the other venues.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can only talk about him.
Well,
I
Stephen.
thought vocally he was fantastic. I think,
Yeah.
first of all, he owns that. That opening is it possibly the best reveal of a character and opening number for a main character in a show ever? Like, that, it's just the opening anybody wants.
Yep.
Coming out with the lights behind, all wrapped up. What a build up. Everyone's anticipating that entrance.
Yep.
And he owned it. I thought his vocals were fantastic.
And I think we can talk. We managed to catch up with David Badella, that played this role for many, many years, up there in our Anne Juliet interview, and he said he felt like a rock star when
Yes.
he comes out
And
because
boy, are you a rock
it's a
star.
rock star entrance. It's
Absolutely.
a rock star role.
There we go.
I've got to say, for me, I've fallen in love with Franks more than I fell in love with him. When
Okay.
I saw David and when I saw Oliver Thornton,
Roe
the
Thornton.
sex appeal of it
Yeah.
was so heightened that I could tell every man, woman and beast around me was touching
Touching
themselves
me.
over Frank.
Yeah.
I didn't quite get as turned on by him by Stephen in this part, but it's still a great role that was competently performed.
Absolutely competently performed, and he moved so well across the stage. He was so fluid, so fluent. I thought he was really good.
Absolutely. And I mean, it must
I
be
don't
so
have much to compare it to.
But it must be so intimidating stepping into that role.
The role.
When
The
you've got
role
Tim Curry,
in the
who
show.
who's iconic, and he's on t-shirts and blazers, and he's held up there as godlike image, courage to take on that part. I admire anybody that's willing to say yes, because it must be frightening, it must be terrifying.
Do you have anything more to say about
Just
it?
wrapping it up.
Let's wrap it up. So, how many stars are we going to give the Rocky Horror Show? Currently on tour here at the Grand Theatre.
Yeah,
before we do,
on a world tour actually.
It's on world tour.
Yeah.
Before we do, make sure you hit subscribe to be alerted to all of our reviews that come out.
We get around a bit, guys. I mean, we're theatre sluts, you might say.
Just like Janet.
Just like Janet. For the Rocky Horror Show UK tour, world tour,
we are going to give
5
stars for
the
this piece.
full house. You're going to have a fantastic evening out.
It's an experience.
And
it's
that's
a fantastic experience.
As much as the plot's a bit weird, the book's a bit
good fun.
odd, it's a bit jarring, but in terms of a 5-star experience, something you will never forget in your entire life, that's
I would
this show.
say give in to it, leggers.
Give
Don't
yourself
do
over to
what
absolute
we
pleasure.
have done
Yep.
and come in our work clothes.
Yeah.
Dress up like everybody else in the audience, and then you are forced to have a good time.
Absolutely.
Just go with the flow.
Yeah.
We were dragged along with it, so dress up. Next time I come, I'm going to dress up. Just saying.
Invest in some fishnets, but
It's not what it is. I'm going to do some homework.
It's just what I think.
Oh, and totally just what I think.
What do you think? Let us know down below. Have you caught this tour, this production? Have you seen it
Previous shows?
anywhere else in the world? We'd love to hear
What are your
from
thoughts
you.
of it? How has it moved you? What was your experience?
Yeah, we're the Breaker Leggers.
And we'll catch you again soon.
Bye!